Hey, looky. Zoe, you're on TV. Looky there. Say hi.
Nice.
You're on TV. Chapter 1, Chapter 10, Section 1 notes will be with Zoe and my 20-year-old son playing Knight of the Fort in the background. Let's see if he can get a dub in the time that it takes us to go through this win.
Getting a dub.
My guess is no, but we'll find out. What do you think, Zoe? Do you think we'll get a dub?
Yeah, sure.
No dub. The cotton gin was developed in the late 1790s. And if you want to see how a cotton gin works, give it a YouTube shout, and you can check that out. We'll go over this more in depth when we get back from spring break. But it basically took slavery from what was going to be a dead issue to being a viable option again. The cotton gin helped separate the cotton seeds from the actual cotton plant itself, and made it a lot easier, which meant more people needed to be in the fields to pick. And as you can see, it triggered a vast move westward. More Native Americans were driven off their lands, and slavery became a crucial labor force. And as always the case, if I go too fast for you, hit the old pause button. As you can see, you can take it as slow as you want to. Zoe here, she likes to take life kind of slow herself, as you can see, right? Good day, kiss. Yeah, there we go. As the production of cotton became more fast and easier, faster is probably not a word, the demand for labor increased as well. Slavery was, as I said just a minute ago, almost dead because it wasn't cost effective. But then when the cotton gin came about, it became cost effective. Slave ownership in the South. About 1/3 of white families owned slaves. About 1 out of every 10 had large plantations in which they owned 20 or more slaves. You think of a lot of people in the South having slaves, but in actuality, most weren't rich enough to have slaves. Most were poor farmers who were trying to get by in daily life, and only about 1 out of every 10 large farms had those large plantations that you're thinking about. The kind of work, most people, if you were a slave working on a plantation, most people, I would say 8 out of every 10, 7 out of every 10 were plantation workers or daily laborers. Some were domestic servants like maids and butlers. Some of them were skilled craftsmen like carpenters or blacksmiths, factory hands. But again, most of them were in the fields picking cotton on a daily basis. This is where you really start to see the split between the North and the South. In the North, they didn't farm much. Again, lots of rocky soil, areas where the ground just wasn't good for farming. So they went a different path to make their money. They needed to find a different way, and so they used their rivers and streams and their natural resources and their harbors to ship stuff out and trade, coal deposits. They manufactured things in the North and shipped them out. Again, using what was to their advantage. Wake up. Don't be like my first period students. Wake up. Hey, wake up. Pay attention. Pay attention. Hey, you. There you go. We'll talk about the Industrial Revolution when we get back. But the Industrial Revolution, again, helped the North take off from the South. They left their farms to work in textile mills for regular wages. See, the thing about farming is it is unpredictable, and sometimes you would make a lot of money, and sometimes you would lose a lot of money. So people would stop farming in the North to get a regular, normal hourly wage like we do today. The factory system develops. You know, you think of Chrysler and Fisher Body and some of the places where you have factories today, large manufacturing areas where you take many different pieces to create one large product. Did you get the dub?
Yeah, I got the dub.
You got the dub? Bray got the dub. How about that? Knight of the Fort. He got the dub. Moving on. The North and South did eventually become connected by one thing, and that product was cotton. So take a minute to think about how the North and the South could have been connected by one product. Well, of course, the South, they picked the cotton. They shipped the cotton to the North, and the North would use that to make goods, and then they would ship it out to other countries. The North couldn't live without the South's production of cotton, and the cotton South depended upon the North to buy their product. So they were connected by one particular product, but that product, as we know, was manufactured by a workforce that was not being paid. Forget the Type 2. We'll work on the Type 2 when we come back. We'll let Zoe take a sleep right now, and we'll let Bray Bray get back to the Fort of the Night.